I read The Swallows of Kabul, written by Yasmina Khadra. The story takes place in Afghanistan, Kabul, a city overtaken by the Taliban that has caused it to go into poverty and depression. It used to be a joyful and happy place, but now it's just sad. The Taliban runs the lives of everyone. The book mainly talks about two couples in particular that have been affected from the Taliban firsthand. The younger couple, Mohsen and Zanera, who came from a wealthy background but lost everything to the Taliban, and the other couple, Attic, a prison keeper who was married for many years to a chronically ill and depressed wife named Mazarat. The book mainly talks about how the charmed life of Mohsen and Zanera gets turned upside down. Zanera used to be a teacher, but the Taliban doesn't allow women to have jobs or even go outside without being with their husbands and being cloaked with a burqa. It's rules like these that the citizens of Kabul are forced to follow every day. The book shows how the two couples' lives are connected even though they never actually meet. The event that kickstarts the plot takes place halfway through Chapter 2, when Mohsen decides to join in on a mob for stoning a woman to death for adultery. I think this kickstarts the plot because it gets the audience more into the book. It made me think, why are these people throwing stones at this woman just for being a prostitute, when prostitution is considered legal in Canada? And why is he joining in on it? It was totally off character for Mohsen, but it still made me want to keep reading to see what would happen next. I chose the rock as my object because it was the object used to kill the prostitute and was the cause of many more events to occur. The next important event that happens is the day after the mob kills the prostitute. Attic is really stressed out after work, so he picks up one of the bloody stones and throws it at the woman for no reason at all. When the woman drops to the ground, all Attic says is, "Stupid woman." The rock is related to that event as well because it is what killed the innocent woman. The next important event occurs when Mazarat finds out what Attic has done. She decides to leave him in the middle of the night. Before she leaves him, she tells Attic, "I was no good to you well or sick. Let's just see how you do without me," on page 140. I think she says this because earlier on in the book, on page 120, Attic had told Mazarat she's no good to him sick or well. The rock is related to that event as well because it is what had caused Mazarat to leave Attic in the first place. If Attic hadn't have thrown the rock, she would have never left. The climax is when Attic goes looking for Mazarat and finds her dead in the middle of the street with a bloody stone beside her. If Attic hadn't threw the rock, Mazarat wouldn't have left and she would still be alive. Everything could have been prevented. I also chose the rock as my object because I think it symbolizes the negative effect the Taliban has had on Afghanistan. I give this book an 8 out of 10 because it's only 195 pages, so if you don't have much time, this is a good book for you. The only thing I didn't like about the novel was I kept getting confused because the narrator would keep switching back and forth between the two couples in weird parts, so it was hard for me to follow which people the narrator was talking about. I really enjoyed this book because I thought it was very informing, and it made me realize how lucky I am to live in a society without war and that treats women as equals. Thank you for listening to my presentation.